my name is Kirsten Easters, and this is my reflection on learning for my final year project for BPJ410. My project is based on a farm in Rustenburg. It is a cherry farm, and my project specifically focuses on the post-harvest operations, mainly the back house, and how they use two different systems at the moment, farm trace and Proptize, and how to integrate these two systems that are being used separately at the moment. So the first problem that I ran into was selecting my problem. I was really grappling with the 5 problems that the farmer had just listed off that he said would be like the biggest help for him if this was solved. So firstly, I had to select what is actually an industrial engineering problem, and then after sorting those out that aren't industrial engineering problems, now how do I select my problem? I just wanted to take the first one and go ahead, but instead of that I set up a problem matrix, and out of that I could really see what would be the most beneficial and what could actually solve, if this problem is solved, also solve other problems. Another thing that I really struggled with was my literature review, and I struggled with this because I was going into deep dives into all this really fascinating cherry farming literature and like how cherry farms work, all of this amazing equipment that they use, and the research that's being done on all of these different types of equipment. But obviously this was not going to help me solve my problem, so I had to keep on pulling myself back and actually thinking, is this going to inform my project and help me solve this problem? And if not, I needed to stop reading and carry on, even though the research was very interesting. Another thing that I struggled with was it was quite interesting to approach people and say that I want to find a problem in their business, and a lot of people were very taken aback by this, or very cold and standoffish, because they thought that I wanted to come in and tell them that what they were doing was wrong and be very critical and harsh, which obviously that was not what that's not the intention of this project. So also to find a way to work with people in solving this problem, and to tell them, hey, I do not want to critique you on how you're doing your job. I actually want to help you, and you tell me what you're struggling with and what would make this work, and make it more of a relationship and how we are going to work together towards this problem. So that was very interesting. Another thing was some feedback that I got from my project proposal, and my writing style was said by my study leader is very narrative, and it is I'm trying to tell a story instead of writing an academic paper. So having to change that mindset also was quite difficult for me, to instead of just explain and be very narrative and try and write a nice story to keep my reader engaged, was to switch from that and be very academic and talk about things that will have an impact instead of painting the nice picture around it. Also, that made me have to engage with the data and with my problem in a lot more in-depth way, and that also took me a little bit out of my comfort zone, to not just be very surface level and narrative, but actually dive deep into the problem and go into the data and find out what's going on and what doesn't make sense. So yeah, it has been a very big growth journey for me so far in writing this final year project, and I can't wait to see how much more I grow going forward.